Okay, so at this point I'm going to demonstrate an arterial puncture stick. So I've got a blood gas kit here already, alcohol swabs and my gauze. So you can have your students practice, going through the whole mechanism. They can't do an Allen's test on this, but they can, find the pulse where they want it. They can clean the site, have their gauze ready. I'm actually using a real ABG kit, an actual needle. Have them find the pulse, and then they're just going to practice sticking. Okay, you can see a spurt and you can see it actually pulsing up. Okay, with enough pressure to actually pull the plunger out of it at that point. Now, if I had turned the pressure down, it's not going to go quite as far. But the one thing I'll note on here, there's no blood leakage from this whatsoever. So it's not a good hemostasis representation. There may be some leakage there, but you're unable to see it. Now, I've used this particular piece of the skin probably for about 50 to 60 sticks, and it's solid as ever. It's not leaking anything out of it. I like to take the blood then and just push it back into this as a way to reuse it. And then I can have students, practice multiple times, sometimes with the same kit, just as a way of, in the lab, of saving the needles and the syringes on this device. So you can see it's actually pretty true as far as sticking. When you stick, you're going through those two layers of the skin, so it feels pretty realistic to going through the skin. And then when you're actually feeling the pulse, and then when you hit it, as demonstrated before, you do see a flash and you do see it fill with pulsatile flow up into the syringe. Okay, so after one poke, then I'm just going to remove the skin once more so you can see what's happened to that. I'm just going to turn the pulse way down while we're removing these skins. Normally I wouldn't do this while it's turned on after having poked the artery. But I want to show you what it looks like after a poke. So you can see it actually squirting out of that hole. So every time you poke it, it's going to create one of those holes where it's going to spurt out, and then that's going to start draining into the collection bay, which you'll see coming out of that big tube there, the furthest towards the top of the screen. It's actually just barely dripping out at this point because not much is collected. But these two layers of skin, they are self-closing, self-healing, and are going to cover any of that spray so that it's not going to squirt back out towards you. And again, like I said, I've used this particular skin probably with 50 or 60 pokes and have never had an issue with any leakage up to this point.